If people who are tired can just go get a cup of tea and come back. I know it's been a post-siesta, a lot of talk, and especially after that Shako, people are just like, oh my. And following this, so how many people have seen hallux valgus surgery? How many people have done? So this whole, almost like the 2/3 of this batch, this arc, nobody's seen, nobody's done, other than one hand which I saw there. You know what is hallux valgus? Yes, some head shaking there, but nothing there. The back two benches or the tables. Okay, so that's for you guys. What are the components of the deformity? So you have an enlarged medial eminence. You can, in the moderate to severe, you can have deviation of the great toe with involvement of the second toe. You get increase in the intermetatarsal angle. What you do get it is sesamoid subluxation as well, and there is a grading of how severe is depending on the subluxation of the sesamoids. And the key thing to remember, especially for the starter, is just not the deviation of the toe. You have a great toe which is pronated as well. So it is more of a rotational deformity than a translational deformity. And if you have gone through all the conservative measures and patient is really symptomatic and you're thinking of surgery, these are the things you would consider before taking the knife in your hand. Check what are the complaints of the patient, what is the occupation. So I am at Breach Candy, and actually Breach Candy has a very low attrition rate. So the sisters, the nursing staff, they stay for quite a long period of time. Probably they're just happy. And you know, in nursing, they do wear closed shoes. So I am seeing a lot of nurses at Breach Candy having a bunion problem. So that's why occupation is very important to understand. While if a person is wearing open footwear or a sandals or a chappals, they may not be bothered about the deformity or having problems with the deformity. So when you do your radiographic assessment, you need to understand what is the hallux valgus angle, intermetatarsal angle, DMAA, if there is any arthritis or not, arthritis at the proximal and distal. We'll go through all that stuff. But the key thing to understand, the patient age, the expectation of what the patient wants. What are the patient looking for to get? Is it just a cosmetic deformity or actually they are bothered by it? In your physical examination, what you would look at is if the patient has a flat foot deformity, then you can offer something along with it. Check definitely in your clinical examination. I'm sure Dr. Shah in the morning would have suggested how do you check for hypermobility at your TMT joints. If the deformity is rigid, that means it's not correctable, then you're going to probably go for a fusion. If there is arthritic changes, you're looking at a fusion option. In every foot and ankle case, you will always check for TA tightness and gastroc tightness. So along with any of the 4-foot procedures, you may want to add this gastroc or a stria recession. So people who have probably not done, not seen, these are for you and also for other people as well, just a revision. So what is hallux valgus angle? It's the angle between the first, the proximal phalanx great toe and the first MT, and the normal angle should be around less than 15 degrees. Intermetatarsal angle, that's the angle between the first and the second metatarsal, and that should be less than 9 degrees. That's how you draw it. Then you have the distal metatarsal articular angle, that's DMAA. That's the angle of the articular surface of the metatarsal head. That should be less than 10 degrees. So that's how you draw it. Then you're looking at something else as well, something called as a hallux valgus interphalangeus angle. That's the interphalange. So a person, you may see it comes with complaints of a bunion or a hallux valgus, and you look at it and you look at the X-ray, X-ray looks okay. You may have your IM angle may be normal, hallux valgus angle may be normal. So you need to look at this hallux valgus interphalangeus, because the deformity is in the phalanx and it's not in the MT joint, and you may need to correct by an echinosteotomy. So that's 8 degrees. And what you're looking in the lateral side is metatarsal or TMT instability. And what you do is you have these signs, telltale signs. If you have osteophytes present, at the TMT joint, dorsal or plantar. Also, you need to look at how much opening is happening. Is the opening happening more on the plantar aspect than the dorsal aspect? That suggests TMT instability. That's where it is. And if that is the case, then you would do an Lapidus. Also, what you're looking at is other findings as well. If you have a second TMT joint arthritic as well, you're probably better off doing a fusion than a corrective osteotomy distally. So this is how you would grade it: hallux valgus, congruent joint, incongruent joint, and degenerative joint. That would help. So congruent joint, no subluxation of the proximal phalanx on the metatarsal head, and these are the options you would have to correct osteotomy. The way hallux valgus or bunions are divided into mild, moderate, and severe. Mild is less than 13 of IMA, and hallux valgus less than 40. What are the options you will have? Either you can do a distal osteotomy, metatarsal osteotomy, which is a chevron, along with an Akin osteotomy, plus minus, and of course you always do a soft tissue release. If you have an IM angle of more than 13 and a hallux valgus of more than 40, that's moderate. You can do a proximal metatarsal osteotomy like a crescentic osteotomy or a closing wedge osteotomy. You can do a modified chevron where the lower limb, the inferior limb of your chevron is just longer, going into the shaft. You could do a scarf, and along, of course, you do a soft tissue release. If your IMA angle is significantly large, that's more than 20, that's a severe hallux valgus, you can do again a proximal metatarsal osteotomy. You could still, if you're really good at scarf, you could do a scarf osteotomy as well. But you're looking at other options as well, like a fusion. So a proximal fusion, TMT, is your Lapidus, or a MTP fusion. So that's what you would do it. Instability, I've already mentioned. If there is a case, then you would do a Lapidus fusion along with soft tissue release. If you have arthritis or spasticity, you would probably do an MTP fusion. So soft tissue procedure. So if you have a mild to moderate, you just do not do a medial plication lateral release. That's almost a no-no. So I've seen patients who have been the bunion has been excised, the bursa has been removed, the prominence has been removed, and your medial side plication. That's a no-no. Just doing an osteotomy itself, it's not indicated because you still need to balance with the soft tissue as well. Now a little bit of a slightly advanced stuff. When you're looking at your x-rays, you still need to make sure you do a distal metatarsal articular angle. The reason is, if your angle is large, and that's your IMA, when you correct, say with a proximal osteotomy, you do a opening wedge osteotomy, you see what happens. Your deformity has increased now. Okay, so that's your deformity which is increased. So by doing an opening wedge, which is what you would do to reduce your IM angle. So now what you need to do is you need to do a distal osteotomy, which is a distal closing wedge osteotomy near the articular surface to correct the deformity. So that's why you need to understand the DMA angle. Again, this initially when I started doing all the stuff, we were not looking very closely to DMA, but now I do that. And that's how you need to do this. So critical points: increased DMMA mandates a distal closing osteotomy regardless of any other procedure what you would do. Now if you were to do a scarf, you still need to add a DMA into your scarf as well. So you really, if you have to be good at scarf to add that as well. And if you have an hallux valgus interphalangeus, so along with the hallux valgus, so into the MTP joint, you have an hallux valgus, you can have to do an Akin osteotomy. So just a few examples. So a young lady with that kind of deformity, so right is worse than the left. We can see that that's your right side more than 17 degrees, it's almost moderate to severe. DMA is normal, left side moderate, that's the deformity. And this is what was done. So left side I did a good chevron and I was quite happy with that. On the right side I did a scarf, corrected everything, and I did an Akin as well. And that's a good correction, good IMM is corrected. So what is a chevron for people who probably don't know? You do a chevron with angles, equal limbs on both sides by the center and then shift it. The limitation of this is you can only do in a mild cases or just stretching into a moderate, because you can only do a 50% of the shift. And Indian metatarsals anyway are small, so you will not be able to get a good shift. And you need to fix them with one screw. So that's why you cannot do more shift. While in your, on the other side, I did a scarf plus Akin. So scarf is where they do a Z lengthening. So it is a Z, like a lightning bolt. That's where it comes from, the word scarf. Also from the shipbuilding industry. That's where it was done. and you do a Z and you shift it. And of course, once you get good at scarf, you can do a lot of things. You can do a closing wedge. This is what I was talking about. You can do a closing wedge here. You can change your DMA angle. You can do a short scarf. You can do a long scarf. Just a word on what I did in another case where we did a modified chevron wedge. I said, effectively what you do is you take the same limb of the dorsal side of the chevron, but on the plantar side, you just go long enough. So instead of taking this cut, I just go long enough and come into the metatarsal. So you get a more bigger shift you get. You can do a translation as well, or you can do a rotation as well, and it's more stable as well. And along with it, once you finish any osteotomy, if you think there's still a little bit of residual hallux valgus, you can do with a Aiken osteotomy, which is a closing wedge osteotomy of the proximal phalanx, and that's your post-op correction reasonably. So another elderly lady said this kind of deformity. She's not a rheumatoid arthritis, severely painful, unstable gait, lot of callosity is present. That's the X-ray. So she wanted single shot solution. Yes, you could do other osteotomies, but you see that angle, there's more than 50 degrees on both sides. And this is what I did, bilateral MTP fusion, and corrected the lesser toes as well, and she was quite happy. So in summary, mild, moderate, severe osteotomies, you need to make sure you measure all the angles which I have mentioned, and the osteotomies option. So for mild, chevron or modified chevron, moderate, modified chevron or scarf, or a proximal osteotomy, and in severe, if you're really good at it, scarf, proximal osteotomy, or a fusion surgery. So in summary, soft tissue procedure alone is not indicated. Be good in one procedure. If you want to learn, do a modified chevron or a scarf, which helps in correction of large deformities. Always look for the other telltale signs of instability of the TMT joint, which you may need to do a Lapidus, or an arthritis of the joint, you may need to do a MTP fusion. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pradeep Munot.